Good evening, this is your host, Smokey D, and welcome to the Late Night Smoke Sesh. This week's major topic, Smokey had a bad week. Smokey had a bad week, guys. Last night pretty much cured it, but before that, Smokey had a bad week. Your host, Smokey D. Apologies for that. And I've been having, all week I had been having trouble with my phone and missing alarms to get up and shit like that. Been exhausted. Not been getting a lot of sleep at night either. But the real fucking bullshit is that I'm not gonna go into details, but I was supposed to see one of my guitar heroes play Thursday night, and to say the least, that didn't happen. I'm out my ticket and one of the other guys' tickets. But I mean, shit happens. So, what's up, Jan?
Well, one of our topics for tonight, which I think a lot of our viewers will find interesting, is Hillary Clinton and Russia. Now, all of this time, they were talking about, all you could hear is Donald Trump colluded with Russia, Putin, Trump, collusion. That's all that you've been seeing in the news. That's all we've all been seeing in the news. And now, I read this article 3 days ago in the New York Post called How Team Hillary Played the Press for Fools on Russia. And for once, the New York Post has released an article that I agree with, that I consider to be completely on point, because if I'm not mistaken, they usually tend to lean very, very much so to the liberal left. But let me start off by reading this very first paragraph. Hillary Clinton's campaign didn't just pay for the Kremlin-aided smear job on Donald Trump before the election. She continued to use the dirt after the election to frame her humiliating loss as a Russian conspiracy to steal the election. Bitter to the core, she and her campaign aides hatched a scheme just 24 hours after conceding the race to spoon-feed the dirty rumors to an eager liberal media and manufacture the narrative that Russia secretly colluded with her neophyte foe to sabotage her coronation. Now, isn't it so deliciously ironic that Hillary and her campaign, they were the first ones to cry collusion, and now...
Of course they were the first ones to cry collusion. Opposition research.
As it turns out, she paid for Russia to help her smear Donald Trump.
Well, more accurately, she paid for the studies to be funded saying that Russia colluded with Trump. Allegedly.
Not only that, the Trump dossier, right? The Democrats bought that from Russia.
Well, paid to fund the research for the Trump dossier. You were referencing the dossier put together by British intelligence agents? That was paid to be put together by Hillary Clinton and the DMC?
Yes.
Yes. That was a dossier put together by a British intelligence agent with very little verifiable fact. But I don't really care about that shit. Smokey had a bad week. Smokey cares more about forgetting his bad week than smoking some weed. Tonight, we're smoking on... We got two flavors. I got some Blue Dream and Yana. What do you got here?
I think that there's something purple in there. Purple something. It's 2 strains. And the other one is some Trainwreck.
Ooh, Trainwreck.
Yeah, that one was good.
One of the first things I got from my current plug was White Widow, but short after that I got some really bomb diggity Trainwreck from
Did it smoke like White Widow?
Yes, it did.
Oh, because White Widow is supposed to be like literally white.
Yeah, it was.
God damn.
I'm
jealous.
You don't usually get to see the nugs that I work with, but if you got to see the nugs that I get from my dealers more often, you might be more impressed with their work.
Perhaps.
That's Smokey's phone going off. We're going to silence that. I don't know how to step out. You know, this week sucked. Missed work, like, well, let's just say I'm not very good on hours because of my phone and my alarm and things not charging. And then Thursday night, I was supposed to make things better, and it just made things worse. But, at least Saturday night, last night, was pretty decent. I never got to show you that picture that I said I would show you from last night, did I, Jan?
No, you didn't.
Would you like to see it?
Sure, why not?
It's a nice little picture under the Whitestone Bridge. Me and some friends went to Fort Taunton Park, or Taunton Park, I think it's called. I had trouble getting the shot right. I didn't get to edit the contrast or anything like that yet by way of the balances or saturation or anything like that. Yes, I actually know a little bit about photography.
Nice.
Not a whole lot, but enough to do my own thing on my phone and not use filters. I hate using filters.
But anyway, let's take a quick detour back to Hillary Clinton and Russia. Now, I was very suspicious from the beginning when they started pushing this Russian narrative.
As you should be.
And I don't know about you, but Hillary, from the beginning, seemed more like the type of person who would collude with Russia. And lo and behold, it turns out that she was the one that did collude. And the funny thing is, did you hear about the uranium?
Uranium?
Yep.
What about uranium now? I'm sorry, I've been so my phone is my major media outlet. You know, that's how I see news and how I see things. And without having much of a phone this week, it's just been hard to keep up with the with what's popping in the world. You know, the shit that's popping off. Fuck shit. Most of it's just been getting missed this week. Last night was good though. Last night we got a chance to just disconnect. And we went down to Fort Taunton Park in Whitestone, under the Whitestone Bridge, along the beach head, a little beach head that was fucked up by Sandy a couple of years ago, driftwood all along it. We smoked a blunt on the way there. We smoked 2 blunts on the beach head, and then the cops drove behind us, and they didn't even whoop us. Not even whooped. When I went to see Ingve, I got off the E train, and I went to roll a blunt I was on a tunnel by Jamaica Center. A little tunnel, and the cops stop. They don't, they stop at a stop sign a block, but they can obviously see that I'm rolling up, and they whoop me. And then they just drive by. Like, they don't even slow down. They just whoop. I put my shit in my pocket, start walking, and then I see that they don't care and go back to finish what I was doing.
Interesting. Yeah, well, oh yeah, so the Russian nuclear deal, funny thing, this article by Fox News takes note, which I like. It says the Russian nuclear deal continues to be kept under containment by media fearful that it might contaminate their ability to attack President Trump. In the latest development, The Hill reported that an FBI informant was cleared to testify on the issue. The Justice Department on Wednesday night released a former FBI informant from a confidentiality agreement, allowing him to testify before Congress about what he witnessed while undercover about the Russian nuclear industry's efforts to win favorable decisions during the Obama administration. None of the broadcast networks mentioned this developed through Thursday evening. That's not surprising. Hillary Clinton told C-SPAN earlier in the week that the latest allegations were the same baloney they've been peddling for years. And the media typically takes their cues from top Democrat lawmakers. Face of the Nation moderator John Dickerson did end the network blackout of the story Sunday.
I think we get the story.
Yeah.
I think we get the gist of the story. What
I
do
re-
you have to say about this?
I forgot to stop reading. I'm already stoned.
I've been stoned since Friday night.
All right, you win. But anyway,
Woke up high yesterday morning. Didn't really stop smoking throughout the day. Woke up high this morning. No, I woke up sober this morning, but I woke up mad early for no reason, so I smoked this Kingpin here and went to sleep.
wow, you're lucky. When when I wake up early, I don't even have to smoke to go back to sleep.
I usually can't go back to sleep.
I'm just
I got
way
lucky.
too tired.
I got lucky. I usually wake up way too tired, but can't get back to sleep. This week I managed to sleep until almost 1. I mean today, not this week. Today I managed to sleep until almost 1.
You wake up tired and you can't sleep? How does that work?
So the way that it works is at night when I go to bed, usually, not always, but usually I can get to sleep. Some mornings, like lately, the last 2 week or so, I've been up till, not really, the last 2 or 3 days I've been up till like 2 in the morning for no reason. But usually I can get to sleep, but I do not stay asleep very well.
God damn. Well, let's finish up with the topic of Hillary Clinton and Russia. Now, I think that anybody who can't tell that Hillary Clinton is a compulsive liar
Pathological, I think, is a better word.
pathological,
Allegedly.
compulsive, same difference. Whatever it is, Hillary Clinton cannot be trusted ever in any circumstances. And anybody who still hasn't, gotten the hint is, I'm sorry, these people are a lost cause. If you don't understand by now. Well, I mean, maybe in the next few years, about many more people will stop drinking the Kool-Aid, the liberal leftist Kool-Aid. Nowadays, they're even getting into socialist. What?
Sounds like Jan on that bullshit. Leftist Kool-Aid.
Yeah, don't drink the Kool-Aid, folks. Man, I'll tell you what. When I was a liberal, when I was a leftist, I was so fucking crazy, and I couldn't get my life together because I think it coincides really. Personality types and traits correspond with political affiliation.
Absolutely.
I feel
As
like
they
it's
should.
I feel like it's your political affiliation is essentially your philosophy for life. It correlates to your outlook on life just about, exactly. And after I became a conservative, I started becoming more responsible and in general a better person.
Values. Conservative values.
Yeah.
Make
and I
America
never
great
understood-
again.
I never understood until now. Make America great again, folks.
Get the kids off the dope. They can smoke a little bit of weed, but get the kids off the dope, get them off the heroin, get the Bibles back in the schools.
Get them off the fucking Xanax and the cocaine and the Adderall.
Actually, some of the ones on the Adderall should be on the Adderall. Not all of them. Some of them.
Well, some of them, but
Some of them. No, it has actually been shown that in the brain of an ADHD patient or an ADHD patient, that Adderall does actually help normalize brain function. In anybody else, it does not do that.
I think it's overprescribed. And
As are most drugs.
I think people should seek alternatives to Adderall, even the ADHD ones.
Oh, absolutely. But there's nothing wrong with deciding that one thing works good for you versus something else.
Yeah, I suppose so. But me personally, I would reach for a natural remedy first.
Natural.
I hate pharmaceuticals.
I hate pharmaceuticals with the exceptions of antibiotics, which are becoming obsolete, and painkillers.
Well,
Painkillers make
It's not
life
so
better.
much that I hate pharmaceuticals. Well, I mean, no, I hate some of them.
I hate most
really
of
the
them.
reason I hate them is because of the way that the industry prescribes them. They overprescribe them.
They overprescribe them.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Especially mind-altering substances.
Xanax.
Ambien.
Ambien is a sleeping medication, but it's not a
Also
benzo.
mind-altering.
Um,
I've seen people do fucked up shit on that stuff.
we apologize for the for the interruption. Let's just say it that way. So, I think we just about covered this. To sum it up, Hillary Clinton is funding opposition research allegedly, and none of it is verifiable.
Yeah, and it said in one of these articles that she brokered the deal with or through a Russian lobbyist. So, you know, she colluded with Russia.
That wouldn't be a surprise.
But anyway, another development in global politics: Iran will continue producing missiles. Their state TV channel has reported Iran will continue its missile program and is not in violation of international accords, President Hassan Rouhani said Sunday on state television, reports Reuters. This is an article on Fox News, by the way. Rouhani
News,
spoke.
The most conservative alt-right bullshit you will ever find. But continue.
I like alt-right bullshit. Rouhani spoke days after the U.S. House of Representatives voted for new sanctions against Iran's ballistic missile program as part of an effort to clamp down on Tehran. He also met the head of the United Nations nuclear watchdog in Tehran, who again vouched for Iran's compliance with the 2015 accord that curbed its nuclear program in return for sanctions relief, which has drawn fire from President Donald Trump, who called the agreement spearheaded by Barack Obama the worst deal.
I thought the transatlantic trade was the worst deal. Or whatever it was.
Trans-Pacific Partnership?
Yeah, no, not the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The didn't he say NATO was the worst deal too?
I don't think he used those terms referring to NATO.
No, the North American NAFTA, the North American Free Trade
NAFTA, yeah. I think he
that was the worst deal.
It is.
So how is this the worst deal? If NAFTA is the worst deal. Sometimes you just...
He's a politician. It's in his interest to hyperbolize and
flippity flop. That's what I call it. Flippity flop. You can't have two worst deals, Mr. President.
Well, he's got to appeal to a lot of people, and a lot of them aren't too smart. So this is actually a very smart move on his part.
America has a problem. We're getting stupid people who learn to be puppets in school, then go to college where they learn stupid things that are pretty much useless, then they can't find a job because they were taught that the only answer is to get a job is to go to college. So not only do we have undereducated and even overeducated idiots, we also have a lack of unskilled workers. Trade school, people. The answer is trade school. But actually the answer is unlicensed trade work because trade school costs way too much.
Damn straight.
I actually was gonna look at. I looked into Apex. Guess how much for the electrical and advanced electrical program?
How much?
I want to hear your guess first. I want to hear if your guess is around my guesses were.
10,000 a semester.
18. You know how much the books are?
How much?
$500. You know why? Because it's a 6-month course and probably only requires 2 books. $511 for the book. Why is the course 18 grand?
Jesus.
Do you know why the cost is 18 grand?
Why?
Because there's not enough demand. Nobody really wants to go to trade schools. Everybody wants to go to college. I said, fuck that, I'm not paying 18 grand. So Smokey might become an unlicensed electrician.
Huh. Well, when you make enough money, you know, you should save up to actually attend a trade school.
That's what you do. That's the best way to do it. Work is a scam for as long as you have to. And save up bread on the side. Because you get paid way more once you get the license and the certification or whatever. Then you get to be in the union and they have to pay you a certain minimum and everything. They can't rip you off.
Wow, is it easy to get into a union?
Well, it's not easy to get into the union if you're trying to go through the union.
What do you mean by that?
If you go to the union and apply to the union, it's very unlikely that you're going to get in. If you apply for an apprenticeship program, you're going to see crazy lines for days around the block. And I actually mean days. Because there are going to be multiple days where they're accepting applicants for unions or apprenticeship programs. So, probably not. But if you get a job with a contractor that's a union contractor, then they have to hire you as a union worker. So that's you're into the union.
Huh.
I was formerly a member of Union Local 32BJ, which is janitorial staff. I think it's also, there's something else that's completely unrelated that's part of that, but that's what I was doing. So, I didn't go through the union, somebody got me the job, so I filled out the union paperwork. They took union dues out every 2 weeks. It's bullshit. It's not like unions are free, you have to pay to be a member of a union. It is a kind of a scam. But a good union is a good union. So, it's kind of like take it or leave it. Which is a segment we'd actually like to try out this week. And considering we're coming upon closing time, why don't we try take it or leave it?
All right. You know what? Let me start off with one.
Okay.
Take it or leave it. Megadeth's last 3 albums.
Last 3. The only one of those I've heard is their most recent, Dystopia. I didn't hear the 2 before that. I don't generally care, once their music for a band starts to get watered down, I generally tend to stop listening, and they got watered down long ago. Their new album was okay, but honestly, I could take it or leave it at this point. Let's put it to you this way. If I was specifically trying to cop a Megadeth album, and that's what they had, I'd get it. But if I was just looking for general Megadeth, general metal, it's something I would pass over.
Leave it. For me, it's a solid leave it. You got one?
Yeah, I got one. Alright, take it or leave it. Hash oil. Wax, basically, shatter, resin,
Oh.
crumble, butter, cake
Mm,
batter, wax, hash oil.
leave it.
Ooh, would you care to explain?
I don't like dabbing.
Well, now,
I do not find it enjoyable.
what do you think is in the kingpen? That's hash oil.
No, it's the same thing. But I prefer that delivery method.
Well, but I didn't say dabbing. I actually do just mean hash oil. I mean the hash oil as a concentrate.
Yeah, take it.
I'll definitely take it. And as opposed to Yano here, my preferred method is dabbing. What about what about a $50 eighth from a legitimate grower? So like some Jungle Boys shit or some Space Monkey meds.
Leave it.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to take it. Explain yourself.
Well, I prefer vaping. So if I'm gonna buy something expensive, I'd rather buy a really, really good vape cartridge.
I'm gonna say take it. Granted, it's not something that I take often, but it's also very rare that I can find it. So when those rare opportunities present themselves, I do usually partake. Right now, I have some strawberry diesel that I got. I forget the name of the grower, but it was one of those growers. My boy told me the name. I can't remember the name now. But I remember like there was an event, last night underground, so I'm not gonna say too much, but this must be some of the leftovers from that because I did see that the same shit was at this event. So anyway, my boy got one too, but he got a different flavor. He got some blue cookies, so we traded a little bit. So now I have some strawberry diesel and some blue cookies at home. The exclusives, not that top shelf exclusive shit. That shit is hard to come by. You know what's even harder to come by? You know about exclusive wax?
No, I'm not familiar.
That $80 a half gram.
Jesus.
That Moxie.
No, I've never heard of this.
That. I heard of it. One dab of that shit, one little dab of that shit will have you clap for hours. $80 for a half gram.
If it's that good, it's kind of worth it.
Yeah, but extremely, almost, it's impossible for you or I to ever get that currently. We would have to do lots and lots of networking to even come close. Let's put it to you this way, the guys that sell that would not deal with us right now. Even if they met us on the street, they